Hey everyone, and thanks so much for taking the time to actually click on the video and watch this. This is just a short recap of the training that we hosted in IT last month. It was about NotebookLM, and I'm just going to go over it real quick and kind of touch on some highlights here and just give you a general kind of description of what NotebookLM is and how you can use it. So first things first, in order to access NotebookLM, if you haven't accessed it before, you can simply go to your ClassLink page. I guess I should sign into ClassLink because that'll help out here. So we'll give it a second for me to log in. And then AI tools, and then from there, NotebookLM should be in there. Once you have NotebookLM up, this is the default page that you will see. If you, whether you have or have not used it before, this is what you're going to see first time usually coming in. So here you have the option, of course, to create a new notebook. So we'll just go ahead and create a new notebook for the purposes of me showing you the different options you have. So you have your Discover Sources option in here. Discover Sources is where you can actually go out on the web and find more sources to go along with what you have. But before we even deep dive into that, let me just tell you first that NotebookLM only uses the sources that you provide to be able to give analysis and generate output. So it truly is a notebook because it's really taking your notes and your things that you upload, and it's recreating that, or it's taking that and transforming it into different source outputs that you can use for whatever task you're trying to accomplish. So you have different ways that you can upload different sources. You can go directly from your Google Drive. So if you're signed into your Carolwood account, when you click on this button, you can simply just scan your drive, upload whatever it is you're trying to upload. Let me go back real quick. Come here just so you can see. You also have website links. So if there's a link to a website, you want to use that as a source, you can go ahead and use that as well. YouTube, you can actually upload YouTube videos into here as well. Two things about the website and YouTube. Well, one thing really for each of those. First, with the website, as long as the website is not behind a paid wall, then you have no problem. Paid wall meaning if you have an article and it's from the New York Times. Well, if you don't have a New York Times subscription, or you're not subscribed to that news network, a newspaper article, whatever it is, you're not going to be able to access that. So just keep that in mind with your YouTube. If the YouTube video is not transcribed, you're not going to be able to use that video. So it has to be a YouTube video that is transcribed. So those are just the two caveats to those two options there. And then you have your paste text here, where if you have some information, so let's say that same New York Times article, you really like it, you're not subscribed to it, but you found a way to access the article, just copy and paste it. Just copy, come in here, paste it. Now you have that source uploaded in there. All right. So I think your source limit is about 50, I believe, 50, and that's 50 encompassing all the sources that you have created. So not 50 of this and 50 of that, but it's 50 all together combined. And then once you get to that, this is how it's going to look when you first come into your notebook. So you'll have some different options here. Here's where you can add your sources again. That looks familiar, right? So you can add your sources here. All your sources are going to appear over here on the left, and we'll go into my notebook in real time so you can actually be able to see it. I just want to kind of give you a blank layout of it. All right, so this is the before, and then this is going to be the after. So once you actually go into your notebook, you have your sources in here. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't see that. You have your sources in here. Everything is in here, right? So you have all your sources. Now, again, over here on the left, these are going to be your sources. Automatically, by default, whenever you upload your videos, your PDFs, anything like that, it automatically checks it. And that check indicates that it's actually the AI feature in here is analyzing and giving you a short summary of all these. So you don't have to leave them all checked. You can actually unselect them. All right, and you can go in and you can choose what you want to have this analyze for you. Down here, this is going to be kind of your brainstorming area is what I like to call it. So this is just taking, as you can see, it changes every time I unclick or I click on another source. it'll come in and give me a usually a different question. But what it's doing is just analyzing the source in real time, or it's waiting for me to give it a prompt so it can go ahead. And so this is Staples Center. Let me see if I can find something in my notebook. Is about basketball. Of course, I'm a basketball fan. So let's look at this. Okay, spending habits. This is a good one. All right. So let's say, let me type in a quick prompt here. All right, so just something simple. And this is my AI doing my work for me. And it's only going off of my sources, right? Meaning that it's giving me a grounded output answer. Grounded meaning it's grounded in my sources. So it's not going out and pulling information off of the web, or it's not hallucinating. For those of you who don't know, hallucinating with any type of AI is just it coming up with just random output and giving it back to you. Sometimes you can see that in Gemini, hence why you should always check your output before you take that information and pass it along to someone else. So definitely keep that in mind. But NotebookLM, it's a very, very low chance. We don't ever want to say 100%, but it's a very, very low chance that it can hallucinate because it's going off of your source. So unless there's some funny stuff going on in the sources that you're uploading, usually 9 times out of 10, it's always going to be the information linked directly back to the source that you've uploaded. So, and answer my question, on average, NBA fans can expect to spend just under $70 per game on food and drinks. So it's kind of giving me what I want. And then it goes down here, and if you see down in this brainstorming area, it gives me some more. It gives me some more options. What minimum floor area mandates Vancouver? So it's going into more detail. All right. If I want more sources, I simply come in here and I click and unclick, and I just kind of do that same process. Now for this note, let's say I want this note and I want to save the information that it just gave me because I want to use that as a source, or I want to take that and do whatever I want to do with it. You want to make sure that you hit save note. And then if you look over here to the right, what it's doing now is actually saving that note, because if you don't do that, if you were to go out of this notebook, come back into this notebook, your information wouldn't be there. Okay, next we will jump over into our studio options over here. So if you look over to the right of your screen, you're going to have a couple of different options over here that you can use to output, or use for output, I should say. This is going to be your source output options that you have over here. So again, my sources are over here on the right. I have them unselected. If I want to select them all, that's fine. Now, anytime you're choosing any of these options, here's the most important thing to keep in mind. Make sure that the sources that you are using, or the boxes that you have checked, are what you want to be analyzed and also have generated output for over in your studio. Because if not, it will take a bunch of time, or a lot of time, to be able to generate flashcards, for example, for all these sources. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just going to take time. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. All right, so let's jump into a few of these options we have, just so you can kind of get an understanding of what it is. So our audio overview, this little pencil icon, you click on that. Now we can get a little bit more specific and kind of customize our audio overview experience. So you can do a deep dive, and a deep dive is almost like a podcast format where you have a source selected, and then you have two hosts, AI, that are coming in and they're discussing whatever your source is. You can do a brief, where it's just a brief audio overview. You can do a critique, so it's kind of like an expert review of your sources. And then you can also have a debate, where it's 2 hosts on there actually going back and forth about, good points and maybe not so good points regarding your sources, or whatever the debate, whatever the subject of the debate is. So it's pretty cool. If you want to focus on anything specific for the debate, pros and cons of XYZ, you put that down in here. If you want it to be short, or if you want it to be a default time. Now, I'm not sure about the exact time frames on here, but I would say probably a rule of thumb is short would probably be maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and default is probably a little bit longer than that. So just keep that in mind. Then you would hit generate. Again, Make sure that the sources you have selected over here are the sources that you want analyzed over here. If you want all of them selected, that's cool. If not, you unselect from the top, and then you just choose the one that you want, and then you hit your generate option there. Video overview. This is more so, I like to think of this as like a PowerPoint with audio, because it gives you literally PowerPoint slides, not PowerPoint specifically, but just an overall slide show with audio. So that's pretty cool. See, what should the AI host focus on? So again, here you can get in and get a little bit more specific. You can choose your kind of visual style of what you want, how you want your output to be. So it's pretty cool. And then again, keep that generation tip in mind when it comes to your sources and the ones you have selected. Mind map. I can show you an example of a mind map, so you can take a look and see what it looks like here. A mind map is just a fully expandable, something that just continues on, and it's focused on that source that you have. So whatever source it was that you selected, this is what it's giving you. And it's just continuing to expand it out. So pretty good. In order to get back to your studio, you would just hit on this little collapse icon, click on studio, and it'll take you right back in here. Flashcards. The flashcard option is pretty good. Oh, I did not mean to select that. Let me see, can I stop that? And I haven't found a way to stop it yet. Once it generates, it just keeps going. So, but I had some flashcards already created. You have your, pretty standard flashcard on the front, digital flashcard on the front, answer on the back. Pretty self-explanatory there. Now let's go into our quiz. There was something I wanted to show. Oh, I didn't mean to generate a quiz. It's easy to click on that quiz, right? Now, last time I checked in here, let's say I selected a wrong answer, right? I can hit explain, and it usually will give me, okay, it looks like it's doing it now. It's reading my source. Okay, yes. So if I have if the answer is right, of course, the answer is right. If the answer is wrong, it'll tell you not quite. You go down, you hit explain, and it will go ahead and give you a reason why it is not right. So it'll point right back again to your selected source and telling you why it's not right. So I think that is pretty cool. Let's see what other options we have up here. Your infographic. You got reports you can generate. So yeah, play around with these options. You have these options here for you to be able to play with them. If you want to share a notebook, as of right now, you can share with individual people, unless you have people actually fully created inside of a group, like a group email. You can't share this notebook with an entire group unless you're individually putting those names in there so far. But any updates that come with that, we'll be sure to let you know. If you have any questions or any concerns, please reach out to IT. And thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. Again, go in and play with it. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.